let's go to Marvin Harrison here.
Marv.
Oh, what's the
Maserati
T
Marv.
on it? 1600. What's the T on
His
Marvin?
T is like 1550, I would say. I mean,
Ooh.
there's not a lot to hate. Landing spot is pretty damn good. Talent-wise, he's great. T for touches, he is going to get potentially more touches than any rookie wide receiver. I mean, like he could have Jamar Chase level volume coming out of the gate. I mean, I can't think of the last time a prospect like him had this little competition. I mean, even Jamar Chase had T. Higgins. Marvin Harrison Jr. has Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, Greg Dortch.
Dortch.
Justin Jefferson, he had Adam Thielen when Adam Thielen had 14 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb had Amari Cooper. Garrett Wilson didn't have a quarterback. Chris Olave didn't have a quarterback. Judy didn't have a quarterback. Like, this guy has Kyler Murray, no competition, and has the talent. So to me, it's like he's probably going to be a wide receiver 1 immediately. And I think like top 12 to 15 overall at the position is probably reasonable for him.
If you guys started your draft, out of curiosity, it's fucking May, so like whatever, man. But like, let's just say randomly,
okay,
whatever. But like, if you started with, I don't know, you got Bijan Robinson in the first round, and you come back around and you get like Kyron Williams because everyone's like doesn't think it's real, and then you come back around, and you're like, oh my god, Travis Kelce's here. This is sick, and you get Kelce, and then you come back around in the 4th round. Would you take Marvin Harrison Jr. as like your first receiver? If it's like 35th.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy though. Like, because he's a rookie, and we're like, yeah, I'll just be the number 1 receiver on my team.
How high
like,
did Jamar Chase go in mocks last year or 3 years ago?
Last year or his rookie year?
Sorry, his rookie season. How high was he drafted?
50s, I think 50s, 55, 60. I want to say.
Yeah,
I think
really
Marvin's going
that
like
low?
15 spots higher than that.
Jamar Chase rookie season, 80 catches, 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns.
All of which were records.
Yeah, Jack posted in the chat. I don't think Marv is going to be around in the 4th round. I think you're going to have to make that decision earlier.
Higher than 35th? That's
Second
crazy.
round.
We're talking
Second
about this
round.
as a rookie receiver.
Yeah.
Well, because like, I mean, I don't
Second-rounder?
know. Look at
Second or
like, who
third.
would you rather have? Would you rather have Marvin Harrison or Nico Collins?
Dude, with
Marv.
Diggs now, I have Diggs. I'm going to be high on Diggs. I'd probably take.
Like, would you rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. or DJ Moore?
Cooper
More.
Kupp, Drake London.
It's like all those
How
guys.
you-
Dude, those are two.
Olave.
Good, those are three great examples because I have beef with all those guys.
Yeah,
Right.
well, it's like they're all in like really crowded like rooms now. It's like
Dude, so
DJ Moore
Drake London has a really good connection with Taylor Heineke.
right.
So I don't know, man. I can already tell that's going to be our bit, the
Good
dumbest thing we
callback.
have all year that ends up being right. Every year we've won one incredibly stupid bit that actually comes true, and that's going to be Taylor Heineke's going to be the quarterback for Atlanta. All right, that's going to be our Kadarius Toney. Will have 2 touchdowns on 5 snaps of 2024. All right. So Marvin, I agree, Craig. Like, we'll figure out where, but I think that's a really good call. I
High
actually
T.
think I would
Second
take Marvin
round.
over
It's
Kupp.
going to be second round.
You think second round?
No, I think that's best
Jack
ball really
says-
influences rankings this
I
time.
think it's third round.
Yeah, his
I don't know.
underdog ADP is 15.
If you get him in
Jackson
the third
says
round,
that,
that's a
but
fucking
that's not real
steal.
life.
You got yourself a stew going.
Marvin is, oh my god. All right, so now the flip side, the exact opposite's Rome Odunze DK because he's going to the Bears and it's like
Low
Damn it.
T. Low T,
Yeah.
kind of low T.
Craig said that when he got on the plane. He looked at Rome Odunze dead in his face and was like, "You're low T."
I did.
Get that tee up.
And then I said, you know what? I'm in first class now. You're in coach. And he listened.
Rookie numbers.
He got up. Team player. That's essentially what he's doing on the Bears. He's in coach now. He was in first class in college. Now he's in coach.
Flying
It is.
coach, if you will.
Oh shit, that was good, DK.
That's a good name for a podcast.
That's a really good podcast that Craig produced. Anyway, yeah, it's not the most ideal landing spot for Odunze in year 1. I think long term, I'm very excited about what Odunze can do. And I think he has a possibility of being paired with, potentially very good quarterback in Caleb Williams long term. It's gonna be awesome. This year, it's tough because you got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen had like a 30% target rate last year, so there's just gonna be not a lot of targets to go around. I think in this offense, especially you got other longer established guys. They're going to throw a couple passes to Cole Kmet. They're going to throw a couple passes to the running backs. It's all that. It's just hard to imagine Odunze will have a target rate of 20+%. And therefore, I don't know. It's kind of tough without an injury to see him being like super fantasy relevant in year 1. What do you guys think about that? I'm still very excited about him long-term, but this year could be a little bit frustrating.
I like what Heifetz said. We were talking the other day, and Heifetz said that Odunze could kind of be like a souped up Jackson Smith and Jigba this year, where
Yeah.
he's got the talent, but just the role is not there yet. What is it? The T for touches. It's just not there yet for Rome. Like, to be honest, I wanted to ask you guys this. Obviously, his talent is so high, Rome Odunze, but like if you compare him to somebody like Keon Coleman, who like might slot in as the number one wide receiver on the Bills right now, or let's say a Brian Thomas, who might be in the mix a bit more early on, like would you take both those guys over Rome Odunze, or like even a Lad McConkey just for this season, fantasy wise?
I think I might have Lad a little bit higher. And it is because I think Lad's going to have more opportunities right away. He could slide in as the number one player on this team. I saw an article by Matt Bowen from ESPN today that got me excited about Lad. Basically, they're going to be running a lot of play action, middle of the field, down the middle. McConkey's awesome on those plays where he basically can catch the ball, hit the gas, and run away from defenders. Give him a little bit of a runway. I think he could do some very interesting things. There's just no target competition on that team right now. It's like Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston, Darius Davis, Go Frogs.
Lad McConkey gave this interview the other day. It's incredible how all these players learn to pitch themselves really well. And I actually try to watch more of their interviews because they obviously with their agents and everything, they actually have, like, some of these guys have really good pitches. And they asked Lad McConkey, why do you think you're going to succeed in the NFL? And Lad McConkey's like, do you remember when like those 7 first-round players out of Georgia's defense went in the first round the last year and the year before that? Like, yeah, he's like, do you know I like practice against those guys every day for like 3 years?
I love that. Iron sharpens
like,
iron, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, I have been playing against NFL defenders for 4 years. I'm like, yeah, it's a good pitch.
Yeah, agreed. I think so. Situationally, there's some similarities to Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think to be clear though, Rome's a better prospect and a very different style of player. So I think there is a chance he gets on the field more and has more varied route participation. And because basically, and by the way, this is the same OC that had Jackson Smith-Njigba last year, who when he left for the Bears, Jackson Smith-Njigba was like, yeah, good luck to the Bears with that one. So obviously JSN hates this guy.
No, the first thing he said, they asked him, what do you think of Shane Waldron? He's like, are we
live?
Is this live?
Oh my God.
Is this
the worst
going
thing
on the internet? Yeah.
That has to be our thing now. That's honestly, that surpassed Rodgers being like,
are we live?
That's my favorite quote. Every time we have something negative to say, it's like, hey, Heifetz, what do you think of Kadarius Toney? I'm like, are we live?
So I want to say up with my friend. Oh, how are they? They're nice. They're nice.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think the reason, so there's a big difference in terms of Rome Odunze versus Jackson Smith-Njigba. And I think one of the reasons Smith-Njigba took so long to do anything for the Seahawks is the only routes he ran, essentially the first like half or 2/3 of the season, was these little screen routes. Like they basically get him on the field, throw a screen
they
to
used
him,
them like Dwayne Eskridge.
and then go the sideline. It was very bizarre. I hope anyway, that's not what the Bears try and do with Odunze. So I think there's a greater chance that he could get on the field earlier and have more success than JSN did last year. I don't think that's like exactly the same situation, but the point being there's 2 established veteran receivers in front of him. It's just gonna be hard for him to find reliable high-end targets in this offense.
We also have Malik Nabers at LSU here, who I think is certainly toward the Marvin Harrison end of T versus Rome Odunze, because you got Malik Nabers, who, the team, New York Giants, so one of the best offenses in football the last few years.
Yeah, how many touchdowns?
I think number 1 the most
lately. Yeah,
yeah. I think
Giants
it's
lead the league in touchdowns.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's awesome. And then
the
talent,
most.
I don't know the number, but it's the most.
The most. They scored the most touchdowns.
Nabers is basically Jamar Chase times AJ Brown times like one of those Jaegers from Pacific Rim. Like that's basically the comp, right?
Mm-hmm. That was DK's draft comp.
Yeah,
that was his draft comp.
I haven't seen Pacific Rim, but yeah, it sounds right.
Oh, dude, it's the best worst movie.
Well,
ever.
you have because you've been watching Malik Nabers tape.
Yeah, exactly. it's just like if there were more Malik Nabers. It's like Malik Nabers.
Do they come out of the water? Is that something like that?
Yeah, it's like the aliens live in the center of Earth and they come out, and then we built giant rock. Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yeah.
To beat the shit out of the aliens that are coming out.
God, that sounds incredible.
And all you need to know about the movie is that Charlie Kelly from It's Always Sunny is the smartest scientist in the world, and that's the entire vibe. He's the smartest guy on Earth. And that's all you need to know about the movie. Anyway, I think they're going to build
Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. What? You can't have 2 cities in the same state.
What's your favorite food? Milk steak. What? No, we're not putting that. We're gonna put steak.
Pittsburgh can't possibly be in Pennsylvania. That's
No, yeah, you can.
I
The
think they're gonna build the
reactions of
entire
other
Giants.
two guys is so good in that scene.
If you're
Gotta
wondering
go
what we're
watch that.
talking about, it's an It's Always Sunny scene someone once told us is the entire thing we do on our show, which is just argue about two cities being in one state. Anyway, it's just every
What is this
conversation
man
I've ever had.
talking
Anyway,
about? Yeah.
Malik Nabers. I think the Giants' entire offense is going to be Malik Nabers. Like it's just Brian Day. I actually think Puka Nakua's records, if they're broken by someone in this class, if it's not Marvin Harrison, I think it would be
No pressure.
Nabers. Puka got 160 targets last year, and I kind of wonder if Malik Nabers would get that. I would like the Giants to give him that.
Man, it'd be
I
awesome
don't
if
know.
the Giants started scoring touchdowns again.
But, well, I know they're going to lead the league again. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
But then you have Brian Thomas at LSU, who it's weird because he went to Jacksonville. They cut Zay Jones today, so Jacksonville's got Evan Ingram at tight end. They got Brian Thomas now, and they got Christian Kirk, and then
Gabe
Gabe
Davis.
Dave.
Yeah. I mean, look, Brian Thomas definitely like slots in the Calvin Ridley role, right? Like he's like the big, tall, explosive burner. He's like way bigger than Calvin Ridley. Even like, this guy's 6'4", ran a 4.39, right? DK, like this guy is. You compare him to Christian Watson.
Explosive.
From a touches standpoint, less defined of a role, I would say. A lot of mouths to feed in Jacksonville. Like you don't exactly know how he's going to slot in. Like maybe this is more of a guy who starts slow and could finish the year really hot, but. To me, he's probably like a fringe top 100 guy just because there are like Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, and Gabe Davis are like three established, talented NFL players. And they have Travis Etienne who can catch balls that I'm like, all right, if Brian Thomas is a star, like it will break through eventually. But right out the gate, I don't know if I'm ready to like commit to that.
Right. I worry that he's going to be super volatile is the thing. I think he's extremely talented and very fast. Obviously can take the top of a defense at any time. So there's going to be the home run plays, but like the Christian Watson style, I mean, I don't think hopefully he doesn't have the injury situation that Christian Watson has, but just stylistically that type of player. And I think I remember hearing that Calvin Ridley was like kind of complaining about the way that they utilized him last year. It was just a lot of vertical routes up the sideline, very high degree of difficulty type plays.
And now he's with Will Levis. Good luck, Calvin.
Yeah. It's high degree of
yeah.
difficulty. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. Considering how often Calvin really didn't know where the fucking sideline was, I don't know.
Yeah, he had like 5 touchdowns that he just had one heel out or whatever.
Guy gets suspended for one season and forgets where the lines are. Anyway,
I would say he didn't have any misunderstanding of where the lines were. That he's pretty
oh,
comfortable with the lines.
the lines are moving. That's the problem.
Got it.
Yeah.
Couple other ones here. So you wait. So Brian Thomas, I think so. It's Marvin is like top tier. I think Nabers is in a tier of his own. And then I would say Brian Thomas is probably more appealing than Odunze, even though I like Odunze as a player better, right?
I don't know.
Keenan
take
Allen gets hurt
Odunze.
one time, and we're going to feel so stupid for not having Odunze in your team.
I would take Odunze over.
I think I would take Odunze over Brian Thomas.
Okay. And then a couple other guys I want to. I think there's a huge drop off. Do you guys agree in rookie receivers after this in terms of this season? I really am excited about these guys long term. Ricky Pearsall, frankly, I call him Slick Rick, which wow, I don't know how he went the whole season. Call the guy Slick Rick.
They call him that, or he calls himself that?
I should have clarified. It's a good question. I got to follow up on that. I don't know who calls him Slick Rick. They
call me
him
Slick Rick, guys. Red flag.
I think Ricky Pearsall will be really good in the 49ers. I also eventually. I also don't think Ricky Pearsall will do much beyond being an awesome punt returner as long as Brandon Ayuk is on the Niners. So I'm not like super excited about him for this year. I do think Ricky Pearsall will be really good on that team. And then I look at like Xavier Legette out of South Carolina, who's now in Carolina for the Panthers. And I'm like, again, worst landing spot in the NFL, maybe for Xavier Legette. Best, depending how you want to look at it. No competition, I guess. But like, I don't know. This is a guy who Xavier Legette is one of those log lines in college that you kind of have to like look at with like clear your eyes. Because he had 2019, he had 9 catches for 80 yards. And he had 7 catches for 113 yards. And these are seasons. 7 for 113 yards.
These
8
are
catches
seasons.
for 63 yards. Like Puka Nacua, this is like how his career started per game in the NFL. Like in 2021, 8 catches for 63 yards for Xavier Legette. And then 2022, 18 catches for 167 yards. That's a year. A year 5, finally, last season, 71 catches for 1,200 plus yards. But then you look at the context and it's like senior high school, they switched him to quarterback because he could play quarterback. And then unfortunately his father passed away and then he enters college. So then he gray shirts as a freshman. Then it was a COVID. Then it's a sophomore year. They changed coaches. And then the junior year, they changed the coach again. So it's like ridiculous lack of production, but also absurd context to why. Then I look and I'm like, okay, what's the organization that could foster Xavier Legette, who has just not played much football, into being an immediately productive guy? And I'm like, is it Dave Canales, the head coach who got a great season out of the Bucks? Maybe. Then I'm like, David Tepper's the owner of this fucking team. And I'm like, I'm going to bet on this team and this to develop this guy. I'm like, I don't really want to be holding the bag, to be honest.
Yeah. He's a guy that I'm probably just not going to have a lot of.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's physically like elite. Like he has incredible speed, 4.3, 940, DK Metcalf style physique. So obviously I think there is some upside here, but I don't know, man. I'm just that 4 years of doing nothing and then 5th-year breakout is a scary profile to me, regardless of who it is. And I'm just a little bit skeptical, a little bit worried about that. And this is also a team that took last year, Jonathan Mingo, who was sort of a guy that didn't produce much in college, but he was really physically impressive. They're not the same type of player. They're not the stylistically the same type of player, but I don't know. It just worries me.
So
I am happy for Xavier Legette that he got drafted by the one team in the one city that will water down his accent the least.
Yeah,
he gets to stay in
Right.
Carolina. I know it's North Carolina versus South, but still.
Dude, it's the best. It's like if you walk into like a Bojangles in rural North Carolina, like that's what people sound like, and it's so incredible to have like a potentially mega famous person bring it to the world.
So good.
I also have to admit something to you guys. Keon Coleman on the Bills, so I actually think has maybe had the quickest ascendancy from nobody knows who this person is to beloved in the world like I've ever seen from an NFL player. Keon Coleman is just like between the Waffle House video, he's talking about the pork chops and the yellow jacket. I buy my jackets in the summer. He went to he saw their cold, like running imaginary routes on the field. He's playing Madden with himself. Like all these videos they're putting out. He is the most fun. He's like, honestly, like Tom Hanks in Big. Like he's just a child. I got to tell you, I think this guy's going to suck because the world is a cold, dark, brutal, awful place.
Wow.
There's no fucking chance.
I didn't think
There's
that's
no
where
fucking
you're going
chance that a guy this wonderful and
he's too pure.
is going to be there's no chance this guy's be a baller as an NFL rookie. Like Keon Coleman having 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns to be on the cover of Madden. No fucking chance. He's too nice. He's too sweet for this world. He's going to suck and we're going to be sad about it.
Nice guys finish last. Well, this is what we were talking about on one of the previous episodes. It was like there are no wide receivers who are just like genuinely famous for being awesome right now. Usually they're just divas. Like who is just like a really great receiver to hang out with right now? Who's passing that test? I don't know who it is. I'm sure they exist, but we don't know them. They're not famous.
I should probably rank him higher because if he's like the nicest guy ever and awesome, that would be so cool to have him on your team. But I also kind of think, frankly, I think I'm out on the world being that kind of place anymore.
Wow.
Love it. It's all 30, one gutter, man.
So you're gonna rank
just a gutter in outer space.
You're gonna rank him low because the world is a cruel and unjust place.
Yeah,
I like that. That's good.
Basically.
See, that's what separates us from other rankings. Like we're really bringing in spirituality and like cosmic, karma. That's good.